To be continued. Oh God. Constable Rolly Beetle. Nothing to report on the streets. And I'm Miss Beetle. Patricia's my name. And I'm this young town hero's wife. So, what's going on here? In truth, we've not been married long. In fact, we celebrated our first anniversary only the other day. Well, that's a whole fucking year. No, it was your husband I was asking about. He seems tired. Hardly surprising. Whilst being an honorable occupation, patrolling to be most demanding work. Right. I won't just be falling asleep on my feet. I have collapsed long ago. This is a man of honor. And a man of slumber. They witnessed it as it occurred? That's right, sir. Isn't it, Rolly? Constable Rolly Beetle. Nothing to report on streets. What a great witness he's going to be. Very good. I'd like to hear your formal testimonies now, please. Yes, sir. So they were both just hanging out? This testimony. It was our wedding anniversary and Rolly was taking me out for a meal. There's no time to change after work. Anyway, two silhouettes appeared out of the fog in the pavement in front of us. All of a sudden, one of them just collapsed on the floor. Then the other scattered something before running off. We ran straight over, of course, and went for help at a nearby police box. It was definitely that Japanese man in the dock. Rolly and I both saw him clear as day. Not that compelling. She already contradicted herself by just saying it. Gosh, the life of a London Bobby sounds hard indeed. Indeed, however, this cross-examination will be over in minutes. We'll have time to rest this afternoon. What do you mean by that? My learned friend. The witnesses saw the face of the man fleeing the scene. They are testifying under oath that it was without doubt the accused. That's true. Well, I mean, they were together, so what are you gonna do? It was our wedding anniversary, and Rolly's taking me out for a meal. Where were you? What meal? No time to change after work, you say? Are you also a member of the police, Miss Beetle? No, it's a job for strapping young men only. Women, children, and the elderly can't even apply. Well, I think you can probably see why children and the elderly can't do the job, can't you? I think Rolly ever looks so handsome in this uniform. It suits you down the ground, doesn't it, dog? Ugh. I just finished my beat. Pat and I were heading back to the station. I was actually planning on getting changed there. Is he talking asleep? This is creepy. Oh no, Rolly, I much prefer you in your uniform. Sometimes I recognize you when I see you in plain clothes. Oh dear, that doesn't seem healthy. Kindly adhere to the point. You're going for a meal after you finish your beat for the day, correct? Yeah. Although I was fit to draw off, to be honest, after spending the whole day on my feet. But police is my life, sir, so I'm proud to let you know. Oh, what's this? A warrant card, proof that I'm a London cop. The noble founding principles of the police written on it. Patrol the streets of London and uphold the peace, common man. It's gonna be like you cannot hang out with your stupid wife while on your beat. So fun crime doesn't appear to come into it then. But sir, just one particular day I was looking forward to celebrating my wedding anniversary. And then, kindly describe what happened next. Anyway, two silhouettes appeared out of the fog and pavement in front of us. Hold it! Two silhouettes? That's right. They were coming towards us, walking up our road in the opposite direction. There was a rather plump figure, followed by a scrawny, thin-looking man. That does sound like the victim picture in this print. Nobody else around at all. Oh, what? Yes, that's right. Of course, there was a light fog on the ground, but our road is dead straight, so you can see fairly long down the pavement. And there's a street lighting as well. I didn't see any other pedestrian. Before sleep takes firm hold, your answer please, Mr. Beat. Are you quite sure of what you just said? I hate these people. And one just collapsed on the floor, and then the other scouted something before running off. Hold it! Scouted something? What do you mean by that? Didn't quite make out what it was at the time. We got closer, we realized what it was. Then we done. Oh, what? Oh, yes, that's right. It was some old books. Old books. Is there a way to prove that those are different books? This guy. He looked down at the poor defenseless woman with those terrifying intense eyes, and then suddenly threw his books onto the pavement and ran away. Yes, sir. Went straight over, of course, and then went for help at... And where is this street box? Was it your husband who went to fetch help? No, I went. I may not be a police officer myself, but I am a proud wife of one. That right, my darling? What? Yeah, that's right. I was off duty by that point. But Bobby never truly off duty, so I felt obliged to say. Depending on the crime's location, you see, as to who deals with it. Where the woman was stabbed wasn't actually on my beat, so I told Patricia the way to the police box for the beat the incident fell under could go and report it. I went as quick as I could and asked for help from the Bobby on duty. There's nothing more poignant than a young couple in love working together. One, please, you're making us blush. Let's move on. That police box thing might be something that we can look at.
Hold it!
You surely wouldn't have been able to see his face by the light of gas street lamps, would you? We absolutely could. Us Londoners have an exceptional eyesight, I'll have you know. Light from the street lamps was more than enough. My husband already told you that the fog was only light, didn't he? Yes, and what of the fog? Famous for across the globe, I believe. What's an absolute menace to those who have to live with it, of course. Oh, it is. But what's the you can't even see the hand at the end of your own arm. Yes, I know. No, I shake away, please. Huh? So that's it. What do you think? I hate to admit it, but when hearing their testimony, it really does seem as though Miss Beach saw what they saw. He ran away from the scene. Yeah, they must have. Members of the jury are sure to call for a guilty verdict after this testimony. If Kazuma were here, I think he would try to find a contradiction somewhere. Alright, this guy fell in Calabash. It must seem or not seem is unequivocal. Calling that into question won't help. Could I find some other part of the testimony which appears to contradict facts? Oh. Yes. I hate you. I'm gonna kill you, Mr. Lawyer. We don't like you. No! It's really not that at all. What? Oh, what about the books a man dropped? Names of every single one. Do that. And you dare question how reliable my testimony is? The Japanese lawyer has no idea what I'm capable of. Please put your husband's fists down. Can you tell you the names of the 4 books he dropped at the scene?
Hold it!
Yes, we know that there were books dropped at the scene of the crime, as you say. What was your husband doing at the time? He's lying face down in the snow, getting some well-deserved rest. He was ever so... Mm-hmm. Picture monsters. You see? Yes, I see there are 1 or 2 holes in your testimony. Well, they were along those lines. Oh, shit! Oh, wait. I'm not allowed to shoot. Yes, terrifying. She really is.
Objection!
So you're saying that there are 4 books? That's right, I remember all of them. Picture monster, somebody, the stupid earrings, and thingamigummy something. I'm sorry, Miss Beat. But there is a fundamental flaw in that statement of yours. Oh, what flaw? Simply that the scene of the crime, there are only 3 books, not 4. This is a receipt from the bookshop where the defendant bought his books. Your books? Yes, and details measure Natsumi's purchases that day. As you can see, there's only 3 books listed. Only 3? Remember seeing them. There are 4 books, I tell you. 4 dirty old books. Oh, really? Have a good look at this photographic print of the scene of the crime. As you can clearly see from his evidence, there's only 3 of the books. I saw them there. No, I'm afraid your powers of observation cannot be relied upon. Not be denied that though you thought it was his defendant you saw, you could very well be. But it was the same. It's about the same books, though. You can't claim that.
Objection!
He's straight up gonna say, yeah, but she literally named 3 out of 4 books. Are you straight up saying that someone happened to have the same books as him? Cannot be denied is that these 2 witnesses saw the accused running from the scene. The fact that you know very well you have no hope for disapproving. So you've striven to avert attention from that dint. Okay, think about it. Let me explain with a toast. To the policeman's wife and her entirely accurate testimony in every aspect. Oh? You see, the matter of this is not up for debate. But that scene on Briar Road, I told 4 books were actually found. But what about the photographic print? There's only 3 books. Yeah, only 3 can be seen in that print. Oh, Allow me to present another, one that shows the victim's hand. The Lion's Pride. As you will observe, the fourth book was hidden from view in the original print by the victim's torso. No. Yes. This beat tells once again, if you please. Oh yes, of course. Picture of Monsieur somebody or other. That picture of Monsieur Lecoq. What's it yearnings? Canterbury yearnings. A meal for someone. A meal for Gabbro, in fact. As the court has just heard, the witness remembers the book titles flawlessly, save for a few minor details. Her powers of recollection can only be described as exceptional. Did you hear that, Rolly? This gentleman paid me a compliment. Oh, right. Okay. There's only 3 books in the receipt, and Miss Beale mentioned 4. Oh my god. There's nothing surprising about that. Clearly the 4th book is that which is shown in its photographic print. I'm sorry, Counsel, but it does not seem odd. Why would the 4th book not be omitted from the receipt? Not odd at all. Because it belongs to her. Belongs to the victim. The victim was holding her own book? Right. We found it. Well, while you rest, I'll take a good look at this. Can't find anything out of place. Oh, look at this. Book has been badly burnt. I'd be able to read in this state, especially not for the latter pages. It's a book entitled The Lion's Pride. Lion's Pride? That's strange. I think I've heard of that book by that name before. Very recently, too. It's how I recognize Mr. Naruhodo. You seem surprised, my learned friend, but your resistance until now has been in vain. Entertaining, yes, but futile. The Spring's longer route has accused longings. You tried establishing a summation examination, the attempted discrediting of the witness's powers to recollect in your cross-examination.
Objection!
If I may, Lord Van Dicks, seeing someone bored should close down the debate at this point. I am, to my shame, still a very inexperienced lawyer. So you'll have to forgive me, but I consider my assistant's advice essential and opinions invaluable. Well, the court has been presented with new evidence, but only after the last cross-examination finished. It's possible that this new evidence might be the decisive proof we've been waiting for. The judge is sure to ask the members of the jury to announce their leanings in this moment.
Take that!
The evidence in question is what we can see from the newly presented photograph print of this crime scene. The fourth book, found in the victim's hand.
Objection.
We have already discussed the fourth book at length. Other than it being in the victim's grasp at the time of the incident, no significance has been attached to it. Like belly damage for fire.
Got it!
I would ask court to observe the back of the book in question. Why is the victim clutching what was clearly an unreadable book? So undeniably extremely unnatural thing for her to have been doing. I suppose.
Objection!
Who the fuck cares? What does it mean? Can you explain it to me? I'm a vampire. Hiss. Explain us what happened. Alright, explain my theory. Its owner. This book reveals startling truth about the book's owner. I already know the book belongs to. The victim gripping in her hand as she fell on the floor. Question this book came to be in the victim's hand is yet to be answered. as to the question of who the book really belongs to.
Take that!
The answer is that book belongs to the couple who own the house where the defendant has his lodgings. Sir Mr. and Mrs. Garadeb, the landlords. Whether this is some extraordinary coincidence or some kind of fair work, I don't know, but of all people in London, one of the 6 chosen for the jury duty in this courtroom today is no other than Miss Garadeb herself. Much easier if you would just drop the pretense. Alright, well, how about a simple question for you? Ever seen this book in Mr. Garadeb's house?
Objection! Objection!
This is not a mere conjecture. The defense happens to know that on the day in question, and almost exactly the same time as the victim was sat on the pavement below, another incident was taking place in the room on the top floor of the house. Yes, the fire. Okay, be right back. He lost a book called The Lion's Pride.
Objection!
In which case, it would be reasonable to assume that it was burnt to ashes. And entirely unreasonable to infer that it magically removed itself at the scene of the crime. And imagine being so horrid to the one you love. Can you, Rolly? Absolutely not. My church should never raise a finger against me.
Objection!
That's quite true. We also saw no sign of broken glass when we visited Garadeb household. But is that conceivable that the window was open at the time? No! Shut up! I hate you! Stop suggesting stupid things. What? Well, I hate the prosecution, so maybe you could tell us exactly what's going on. Yes. Is Mr. Garadeb gonna speak? Oh, you're gonna speak. I hope that everyone can see you for what you are now, you little foreign trickster. Call yourself a lawyer, but you're just a coward. A mean coward. Really? You're a little to set off the whole neighborhood. I'm merely posing as a maid for appearance's sake. It's nothing to do with this beastly case. None of it! I assure you, that was never my intention. Oh! Too right! Okay. How long have we sat here now listening to this Nipponese spouting us fancy foreign theories? I think about it. At the end of the day, the only person who could possibly stab the victim is that little hunchback with the mustache. He ran away from the scene too. I do declare you're right. It's true. Yes. Makes sense to me. Huh? What? What are you talking about? No. Books are predilection, my learned friend. Study them on your own time. No, forgive the discourtesy this time. Anyway, you will now say your individual decisions regarding.
Guilty.
Oh, what?
Guilty. Guilty.
Guilty. Guilty. Guilty.
Ready for round 2, boy? Go ahead. To be continued. You got 10 minutes left, mister. We'll just save it here. We are, my lord. Hughes left behind evidence at the scene, didn't he? Those 3 books of his. If there was a novel alternative explanation about how the victim was stabbed, I might reconsider. Even if the woman was throwing books, it can't have been related to the crime if the window was closed, can it? Dearie me, it was only 1 book. Hardly life-threatening, even with a direct hit. Look, I just want to get this over with. If I don't bring home some pain, I'm in a tiny bit of trouble. Come to think of it, we had a fire at home a while ago. It gave me the sneezes. Considerably more tangible arguments. Who stabbed the woman and how? Those 2 details are all you need to provide. Simply give us a name and the method by which the attack was conducted. Okay. There's already something in my mind, but it might be wrong. Yeah, she's the one to react if anything. The accused left behind evidence at the scene, didn't he? Those 3 books of his.
Hold it!
But as we now know, there were 4 books, not 3. Well, what difference does it make? There's every possibility that the 4th book in fact belongs to the defendant's landlord. Yes. Well, at the point the woman was stabbed, this landlord fellow wasn't home, wasn't he? Enjoying a fiery scarf with his wife or something, you say? That's not how I put it. Well, anyway, the point is the fellow and his wife were somewhere else when it happened. To think that's what you call a strong alibi. It could have been the landlord who did it, which only leaves a Nipponese fellow. Also, I can't see what all this palaver is about. It's a done deal. I suppose it is, since I've nothing left to say. If there was some novel alternative about how the victim was stabbed, I might reconsider.
Hold it!
So, you might be willing to change your decision, you mean? Yeah. Despite what you may think of me, I'm a very modern, metropolitan, irrational woman. That's great. If one reads morning papers, it's all forgotten by tea time, isn't it? So why read them in the first place? You see, modern, metropolitan, and rational thinking. Yeah, okay. Anyway, he's been implicated by overwhelmingly strong testimony, so despite 1 or 2 minor puzzlements, I declare that the man is guilty. Modern, metropolitan, and rational logic. Thank you. A new theory? Sure. Well, she's the one that we can sway, I'm sure. Even if the woman was throwing books, it can't be related to the crime if the window was closed, can it?
Hold it!
Well, what about the possibility that the window was open? Okay. There's just no way it could have been. Why are you so sure then? Prosecutor fellow over there said earlier. Winters in London are no joke. You don't want to invite that sort of cold indoors. So no, the window wasn't open. Us Londoners like sitting by the fire and staying warm. But you couldn't categorically state that the window wasn't open, could you? It just wasn't. They wouldn't have opened it. Then what's the point of even having windows? You'll kindly refrain from your childish bickering. Oh, sorry. Undeniable proof that was open. Dear me, if only, there's only 1 little book.
Hold it!
But the little book was on fire at the time, was it not? With flames of love, I'll have you know. There's really no such thing as a loving incendiary bomb. What he brought upon himself is playing with fire to betray love, isn't it? Don't you agree? Yes. Any kind of betrayal is certainly a bad thing, yes. But I think the argument might have arisen out of your misunderstanding, Miss Garrideb. Have any more of these suggestions? Look, I just want to get this over with.
Hold it!
How can you sit there and say that, something like that? Man's future's at stake. Tell me and both then, like I said before. What? Bring home some Reddies with me tonight. You'll find me going face down the Thames tomorrow morning. Quite remember. It's too frightening. That's the thing. I must have blocked it out. I wonder Mr. B will ever be dragged to things by his scarf. Please don't go there.
Hold
Okay. Does that have anything to do with your decision about the defense culpability in this case? Sorry, what was that? Someone's gonna say something after all this. Of course not. There was an angel cake to celebrate my birthday. Anyway, must have all my puff to blow them out. I must have blown the rock somehow. The flames didn't go out, but the candles were flying all over the room. Furniture caught everything in. Everything went up. The whole place was filled with smoke. He was a devil worship all along.
Objection!
Don't blame me again. I told you it wasn't me. What's that you say? Huh? What you talking about? Oh, hi there. It's me, Steve. Shut up. It was an emergency. I mean, obviously, if the room was filled with smoke from a fire, then you'd be mad not to open the window.
Oh my. Excuse me.
Do you have something to say about that? It was open.
Hold it!
Well, I really couldn't say. Because I couldn't, you it's a little man. I did remember. I barely noticed I was throwing the book, much less the title of it. What?
Excuse me.
You know something? I remember what it was. The memory I blocked out. I was listening to what his granny was saying, brought all the flooding back. I miss Garadeb or the maid. The man doesn't even flinch. It was about 2 weeks ago now. I just got back home after work I put my hand in my pocket for the wages earned that day. I nearly died. There was a hole. Every penny dropped out. Oh, a disaster. You haven't heard the half of it. My wife was cutting up some chicken at the time. I couldn't hardly get the words out, but I told her straight. That's a real disaster. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make is this. When the women lose a rag, they'll throw anything at you. Knives, hatchets, hammers, you name it. Throwing household objects at people as well. So uncivilized. At least attack with honor. Using a bow or the like. What? Attack? What are you gonna attack? Let's not talk about that. Okay. Oh my gosh. When the victim attacked on Briar Road, we know that there was a small house fire in Garadeb house on the opposite side of the street. There's definitely a chance that one of the books could have flown past a man out the window. Only, yeah, exactly. I can't really see how it could have gone all the way over to the other side of the road. So I don't really see how I can change my decision, really.
Hold it! Hold it!
Your wife really threw a kitchen knife at you? That's right, she was chopping me with it. Had a tiny edge on it, believe me. Still, it's all memories, isn't it? Started with that smile she threw when we were recording, and since then, the list of things she's thrown at me has grown along with our relationship. There's a cup, then a glass, and a pot, then a kettle, a chair, a wardrobe, a cooker, a bathtub. Your wife must be even beefier than you. And things came to a head last week when she threw me right into the flames. Still, she's not so bad when she's calmed down. Little sweetheart, really. You want to know what I think? I think this whole idea lays first. Without stop by 11 lands and been tossed. What a terrible thought.
Objection!
Hold it!
Did you change your statement from before? How does your man relate to this case exactly? Use unlit candles.
Objection!
Turn number 2. Do you think perhaps that this could be a such novel alternative? An alternative explanation as to how the victim was stabbed in the back. Demonstrate that the 4th book, The Lion's Pride, was found at the scene of the crime, returning from Mr. Garadeb's room on the top floor of this house, and therefore it's equally possible that some other object besides the book could have found its way from the Garadeb household to the street below.
Take that!
Issue number 4 is Garadeb. I must apologize in advance for this. I need you to confirm something else for the court. This knife. Have you ever seen this knife before? Are you saying that it flew out the window and across the street to land neatly in her hand? There are many details that we don't understand. Garadeb, your answer please. Have you seen this knife before? I'll change my decision. I'm a woman of my word after all. Yes, I agree. I certainly didn't see this coming, but when you put it like that, I don't think it would be right for this trial to come to an end now with so many unanswered questions. I have to agree. And I think the granny did it in mind. Yeah, you know what? I'm not quite happy about this at the moment either. All together now, ladies and gents. Alright. As a result of the defense summation examination, number of jurors' leanings have changed. Okay, that was kind of a whole freaking thing. Oh, that's a good question, actually. The next witness, of course. Let's go. But what follows so repugnant, it's good for nothing save the gutter. Defense has just put forward a credible alternative. Explain what happened. Credible is that your considered opinion. The defense's argument is a joke to which I barely know how to respond. Let me start by insisting that you must all familiarize yourselves better with the relative positions of those places being discussed. What do you mean by that? I'd rather watch Street Briar Road. Which means that the distance from the Gyarados house to the scene is some 14 meters? It's a little further than I thought. And ladies and gentlemen of the jury, rarely known as having pretentious significance, the fourth book was found in the victim's clutches. In other words, the smoldering books wantonly hurled by the lady of the house traveled some 15 yards to land on the opposite side of the road, neatly between the collapsed victim's fingers and thumb. Is that your final conclusion, my learned and deluded friend? This fantasy is somewhat stretching the notion of having a bad day for the victim. Even those pathetic serialized detective stories have more believable plots. Well, when you put it like that... This game is all about, well, when you put it like that, that does sound bad. That prosecutor loves the sound of his own voice. Serialized detective stories are pathetic. How dare he? Let's pick our battles here. No, I've had enough of you. Oh, okay. Yeah, anyway, go ahead. Sorry. My script tells me. If it was more believable, yes. To that end. Juror number 4, Miss Joan Garadeb, must be called to testify and submit a cross-examination. That's true. We have to ask her what happened, or else we can't get to the bottom of that.
Objection!
And unnecessary. There are already witnesses in the stand whose testimony the defense may further cross-examine. My learned friends, harsh. Both the burning book and the jackknife must have flown through the sky before this couple's eyes. And must assume that they'd be able to testify accordingly. What say you, witnesses?
Hi there, this is TNT telling you that this video is brought to you by my streams at twitch.tv/TNT3Rays, where I stream gameplay every night. See you soon.